Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you're in the world. You know it is JJ and JJ's PC Builds. Before we get started, I want to say welcome to all the new subscribers we got in. Seems we got a couple more that I seen this morning. Welcome to the family, welcome to JJ's PC Builds, and also to all my veteran subscribers. Definitely thank you for all the love and support you're showing us on the channel, and it helps when y'all watch the videos from beginning to end. It is much appreciated. Tell y'all your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors, tell everybody to come on down and subscribe right here to JJ's PC Builds. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe and watch the videos to beginning to end. Okay. The reason why we're doing the video today, I'm going to tell you. I ran into a little bit of a snag with the Asus Strix B550-A motherboard. I ran into a little snag. Which is, I'm not going to blame Asus for this because they probably don't know it yet. But Intel, I guess, is wrapped up into this as well. And this is kind of Intel's fault that I'm going to be blaming Intel for this. That the driver series for the network card, they need to have a look at it and they need to revamp it and come up with something better for today. You know, up to 2023 date. Now, what I noticed that what was going on was that when I updated the driver software to the 2023, was it 519 or something like that? I'm going to go ahead and take a look really quick so that way I can make sure I got my facts straight so you all know that I got my facts straight. I keep all the documentation and everything when it comes down to every little bit. So going down to the LAN driver, it looks like it's the 5/31/2023. So when I load that driver in, okay, for the LAN card, you know, the one with the Cat 5e cable that you plug into the back of your computer, I noticed that for some reason that when I go to, you know, even bring up, let's say Google Chrome, the home page, that it took forever for it to load and then it would disconnect. And I'm going, what in the world is this? So me, you know, I'm doing my investigating. I'm going through the drivers. You know, I took everything out. What drew me to what my conclusions were is that when I started up the motherboard for the first time, it was running great. So that led me to believe, and I knew at the driver numbers, you know, the date was on the drivers for the LAN card, you know, that built-in LAN, and it's supposed to be that 2.5 gigabyte LAN connection kind of thing. So when I was running a report, everything was working fine off of the first initial startup of the computer. Everything was running fine. And then I went and I said, okay, it's time to update the drivers. So I update everything, you know, the AMD software, Intel software, you know, with Asus and everything else. But I think what happened is that I think Intel gave a batch of driver software to Asus for their LAN connection and gave them the wrong drivers. What brought me to that conclusion is that when I first started the computer, it started great. The internet was flowing great, everything was flowing great, until I upgraded the driver series to the 5 of 23. And that's where, I started running into problems. So, I know y'all not really concerned about something like this, but when you go to update your drivers, okay, one thing you want to do is you want to go in increments. So basically, if it's an Asus motherboard, you pull up the Asus website. I'm going to take y'all with me so that way y'all can see what's going on. So we're going to go to the action screen. Okay, so what you're going to do is you want to go to asus.com. Right. So we go to Asus Global. Okay, now we want to do support. Okay. Oh, we got to go back one, y'all. So we want to do drivers and manuals. I forgot they changed everything up. Let's see, you can type in B550-A and it should bring it up right here. So we bring it up. Okay. We brought it up, right? So now we go to the drivers and utilities. For the B550-A gaming, the ROG Strix, you choose your operating system. Okay, now where there's LAN, see they give you this month the 3/23/23, which it comes out to be the 5/23. Okay. For some reason, it's all messed up. So what you do is if you want to roll it back, there's a little, there's a little button that says right here that says show all. Okay. So you show all. Don't go past where it says chipsets. Go down here where it says 7/7/2020. Okay, this is where I started back in the beginning. Okay, it says WHQL. That means it's Microsoft certified. Okay, I noticed it says Microsoft certified right here on the beginning, but I don't see it anywhere else. It's saying Microsoft certified. So that means if the drivers are not, it means if they're not certified by Microsoft, then 9 out of 10 chances they're not going to work correctly on for the motherboard. So basically I took and uninstalled all the drivers, including what's in memory. I uninstalled everything, and then I shut the computer down, I restarted it, okay, and then I came back up to this page. I downloaded this before I did that, my bad. I downloaded this before I shut down the computer, and then I shut down the computer, restarted it, then I installed this driver set for the LAN, the QHL. And to my surprising, this remedied the problem. This fixed it 100%. You can, if you want to dibble and dabble in this, you can go up in driver series to see where it stops working at, if you want to do that. You can go up one and try it to see if it responds the same as the one you had that was giving you problems. If it doesn't, then, you're getting great response. Then you can go up to the next one. And then, keep going up until you hit that spot to where you're not getting, it's starting to hang up and there's no responses and everything else. You can do it that way too. If you want to get it close to the mark of where it is for the most recent version of the LAN drivers. Okay, now, me on the other hand, Asus, I want you to hear me out on this. You need to get these Microsoft certified on these drivers, to let us know that these are good drivers, good standing drivers for this LAN card. Now, I don't know if the next one's good or not, or the next one or the next one, because they're not certified by Microsoft. And that brings another thing that Microsoft keeps doing. And, when you uninstall drivers and everything else and restart, when you go to put in, let's say you started back at the baseline like I did, it seems Microsoft wanted to install their version of drivers, which put me in the hang-up zone right here on the 323 2023 drivers. Okay, that put me where the hang-up was. Microsoft drivers did. So, telling myself, was it this right here? Was it this driver here? Or was it Microsoft downloading their version of drivers that was causing the hang-up? Which, no, that wasn't true. Okay, Microsoft was downloading you this driver version. This driver version right here that wasn't working with the LAN on the motherboard. So this is not working whatsoever for your benefit to go through all that headache. And that's the reason why I go through and check every little piece of software for this motherboard to make sure it's running at 100% efficiency. Especially when you're doing online gaming, you need to know if the LAN is running at 100% or if it's running at 10%. So my analysis was that the driver series, the recent driver series at Asus wasn't that great. So whatever Intel sent to Asus for Asus to use, or if Asus created their own, they need to fix it. But they do have the solution, and the solution is you can always go back down to the beginning where it says WHQL and download that and then correct all your headaches. So until I see them come out with the new driver set that's going to work just like this one right here, even better, I'm going to stick with this one right here because, it's giving me no errors or anything else, and it says it's fully seated and ready to go. So I'd rather stick with that for now than to have to fuss with the driver updates on, for this LAN, finding out that they're not going to work. I don't think that, Asus realizes that this might not be working for this type of motherboard. I don't think they realize that whatsoever. But what they need to do is they need to sit down and test the LAN connection on their end with this driver, with this type of motherboard, which is the Asus Strix B550-A. They need to test it on their end and find out what's going on, why the motherboard's not, coming in correctly, why it's not, when you load up Google Chrome, or you load up Microsoft Edge, or any web browser, that it takes 2 to 3, maybe close to 4 minutes to get to the end to tell you there's an error, and then every time you got to clear out your you got to take and go to Troubleshooter and get the Troubleshooter going just to get it to work. Okay, and every time Troubleshooter was saying that you needed to reset your modem, every time it kept saying there's no connection between the modem and the LAN that's on this motherboard here. No connection. But everything else comes up okay, but just no connection. It's like it connects and disconnects. As soon as it gets to the point where it's going to connect, it disconnects. So I had to fine tune and go down and find out and look at very carefully where the problem was. So I found the problem. The problem was in the drivers. So I had a program that went through all the drivers, told me that there's a hang up in part of the driver software. Now, I'm not going to tell Asus where to go find it, but I can tell you it's in the driver software for the LAN connection. I mean, there's no real setup on their LAN drivers, because when you go to install their LAN drivers, it doesn't even give you any prompt screens or everything else. It just, you click on it and it loads it. And that's it. It does nothing else. Doesn't give you any options, doesn't give you anything. It just goes from point A to point Z. Done. That don't sound right to me. So I think Asus needs to kind of bump it up a little bit, and give you prompts of what you can install or what you can't install. Give you some kind of functionality. But I can see the functionality with the newest drivers, they're not working. So Asus, if either you guys look at it or you have Intel look at it, find out what the problem is. But I can tell you that the drivers for the LAN for the Intel i225-V is not working. Okay, but the QHL drivers, the ones with the QHL on it, or the WHQL right here for Windows 10 that's certified by Microsoft, is working. The rest of them, I don't see them being certified by Microsoft, so I'm going to take it that they're not working. That everybody's just probably going to beat the street and waste their time. So y'all don't waste your time on it, trying to get the drivers to update and everything else. If they're not working correctly, I went to Intel's site to see if they had any drivers that that would match with this. That was nothing but a circle around, big headache. They didn't have anything that I was looking for. That's the reason why, with Intel, is they got one problem that I can see, that some of the reason why I steer away from Intel is, one, Intel used to be really good and have all their driver stacks and everything else put in the right places. You can find drivers if you need Intel drivers. But now, it's a headache. Every time you go to their site trying to find something, it's like they're hiding something. It's like they're hiding their drivers, older drivers for older systems and everything else, or they discontinued them, or you got to go find them somewhere else. You can't find them on their site anymore. It's like they just don't give a crap anymore. So Intel, this is one of the reasons why I haven't switched and got a motherboard to run an Intel processor, is because I have an older system. And, for me to get drivers for that, to find drivers, I got to search and scour and scrape the whole internet to find them. I got to scrape the whole internet. This is going to come down to my conclusion. We're going to get down to it. We're just going to get down to it. So, all right. Even though I forgot that again. Okay. Make sure y'all get your drink. You got your snacks. Put that out of the way so y'all don't have to look at it. I got mine. Okay. Conclusion is this. Intel, you do have some good processors that are fast and everything else, but the one thing you're really lacking is driver support. When it comes to you having a product out there that you're letting your AIB partners deal with, when it comes to driver support, you're really lacking in driver support. Okay, you used to be really good in all drivers and driver support. Now, it's hard to find a driver for Intel. You got to take and get the whole program. And, when you do get the whole program, like I did, I tried a program from Intel for the LAN drivers. And guess what happened? It locked up my computer. So I had to go into safe mode. I had to go in and take all that crap out and fine-tooth comb my computer just to get the program to run correctly again, so I can get Windows back and operating 100%, because you claimed that you had your program that would work with the LAN connection, which totally fumbled my computer. And I want y'all to understand this and listen to me very carefully. When it comes to driver software, I don't trust Microsoft for driver software. Now they do build it. They do build the operating system, yes. But there are some quirks about Microsoft operating system I do not like. But there's a workaround for everything. So that's one. As far as service and you trying to get the information of where and when and how, Intel used to be really good to have everything right there in line. You go to support, and then you pull down the support page, and then you pull up the driver software, and then it goes down to the computer, the item of the computer, and then you can go from there. And then find exactly what you're looking for, and then pop up the drivers, download it, and be happy. Now you can't do that anymore. Now they got everything allocated into one or two or three programs, and you got to download it and put all that bloatware onto your computer just to get to the driver software. And then when you get to the driver software, then you find out, guess what? The driver software doesn't even work. And for Intel to to say that they, they do something with your LAN connection and they got stamped on it Intel and it doesn't work, there's a problem, especially when you're getting a motherboard with built-in LAN connection. What, do you expect everybody to use Wi-Fi? I don't use Wi-Fi on my system for a reason. It's because of that Bluetooth hacking crap that went around, that they can connect through your Wi-Fi connection and hack in through your Bluetooth just to get into your computer. That's the reason why I'm not putting Wi-Fi connection on my computer. That's the reason why it's hardwired. That's the reason why it goes through firewalls. That's the reason why it goes through antivirus. That's the reason why it goes under all these protections, is so that way it protects the computer at least 80% of the time. But, when it comes to the driver software for the LAN connection, obviously they can't get that right neither. A good thing would be to, think about like Gigabyte. They got the same problem with their driver software. And that seems to be like, it seems like an Intel kind of runaround kind of thing. You can get the GBE series and not have a problem. Oh, let's see. Let me pull up what I'm talking about here, so you all know where to look at when you go to when you go to the control panel. Okay, when you go to the control panel, I usually have it set for large icons. Okay, so go back to the action screen. I usually have it set for large icons right here in the corner where you can't see it. And I go to the device manager, right? So, I forgot everything's on my first screen. Okay, this right here, I know what this is. This is for the cam. This is for the cam. This is for the voice of the cam. I already know where that problem is. That's not an issue, as I'm not using that right now, so that's why it's coming up like that. Just to let you know, because I know there's a comment that's going to be out there. Oh, look what you got right there. But this is where we're looking at right here. This is what we're looking at right here. Okay. Device is working properly. Okay. So the driver series I'm using. Whoa. See that? 4/2/2020. And its compatibility publisher is Microsoft certified. So as far as everything else seems to be good. It says it's working properly. You get the point. Okay. Now, with me using the other drivers, I was getting the same thing. But it's not the same thing, because the little hidden quirks that everybody was having was the fact of that, here, let's go ahead and just get out of all this. Let's go back to the main screen. See, now, the hidden facts and fiction of this is all. Okay. Microsoft drivers pulled from Intel doesn't work. So if Microsoft ever tries to install drivers onto your PC for anything, you can always roll back the drivers to the ones you had before. In the device manager, under those items, you can roll back the drivers, and it goes right back to the way you had it before. And they'll give you a questionnaire, the reason why you don't want to use those drivers, and you tell them, They don't work. So they'll stop sending you the drivers. Once you do that and you go through that questionnaire and they ask you why you don't want to use those drivers, they don't work. Simple as that. So, but as far as Asus, getting down to the nitty gritty Asus, you need to have a look at your driver formula for your LAN connection, which connects your LAN to your router. You need to look at that very carefully. I'm giving you a heads up. There's a little bit of an issue there. It seems that, when you go to surf pages, that it keeps giving broken connections. So obviously there's a problem with the drivers, not connecting correctly. The switches are not connecting correctly. So you might want to look into that and come up with a new driver formula that's going to correct all them bugs and fixes. So that's the only, and believe it or not, that is the only thing I see wrong with the motherboard. That is the only thing I see wrong with this motherboard, is that one little problem with the drivers. But that's for your LAN connection. That's your hardwire connection. That's the only real problem I've seen. But the fix is that you can roll it back to the previous driver it came with in the beginning. That's where you want to start with. So, knowing that, I, on the other hand, would do one better. When you go to, and I'm going to tell you something, I took out the Armory crate. I felt I didn't need it, which I don't, because on the motherboard I have no RGB, and that's connected to the motherboard whatsoever. And if I want to control the fans, I can do that in the BIOS and put it on its own fan curve in the BIOS. I don't really see the need for the Armory crate. I really don't. Everything that's in there for the Armory crate has no usage to me whatsoever. Now, this Game First 6, this AI Advantage program, has some use. It does really well on the downloading and the uploading. Does really well on, the response for the internet. But that's all its function is to get the flow through for your internet to go a little bit faster. If your drivers work correctly, yeah, it's got a great flow through. And I noticed that when I was testing it, doing updates on Steam last night, I noticed that when I was doing the updates, and when you got like almost 4 to 6 terabyte, well, 4 to 6 gigabytes, or you got something that's at about 12 to 18 gigabytes, and the internet's like running at, giving you 5 to 25, megabytes per second, and it's going really slow and slow and slow. And then when you click on that Game First, it went boom, pushed it right up to almost 300 megs per second. Boom. I was like, wow, That was some massive downloading all at one time. It's got its advantages if you got the driver software running correctly. And believe it or not, I rolled it back to the beginning drivers, for the LAN, and it worked correctly. I cannot complain about that. Not whatsoever. That means when you go to play online gaming, if between your LAN and your router is not running correctly, it can bobble your games up. Especially if you're playing on Steam. Think about it. Everybody thinks, oh, my computer's running too slow and this and that. Yeah. How's your internet running? That's going to be the question for you. How is your internet running today? Is it running fast or is it running slow? What happens if your internet's running at 20 megabytes per second and you're running Steam and it requires you to have 50 megabytes per second? What then? How's your gameplay going to be? So this online gaming all bases upon your LAN connection running at 100% and your router running at 100%. So if you don't have them running at 100%, it looks like that, your gameplay is going to be laggy and it's not going to run correctly, and, you're just going to be dragging feet. So, something to think about when it comes to the near future, but for now, I found one little problem and everything is green as a go. It's been fixed, so I have no problem now. But the problem I really see is that Asus needs to step up and look at these drivers for the LAN, the recent drivers, and come up with a patch to fix the problem. And it's probably because they never heard of anybody having this kind of problem yet. So, but, when I have to connect to the internet and I got to do this YouTubing as a creator, having a sucky connection and things not connecting correctly is really bad. Time is money. Just to let you know, time is money. So when you cost me, you're costing the subscribers, you're costing everybody that's here on YouTube. So, but I know it's not Asus that's totally 100% at fault of this. I know this has Intel's name stamped on it. So Intel, you need to get on about what your driver connection is for your LAN, because it's got your name stamped on it and it doesn't say Asus stamped on it. It says Intel. In that device manager, it says Intel. So Intel, you're the one that's stamped on it. It's your product. You need to figure out why the newest driver updates are a problem. Okay. Asus too, it's stamped on your motherboard. So, they're using their product in your motherboard that you made. So you're now part of this investigation. So, investigate it. Let us know what you come up with in a video or something like that. Or email me. Or y'all leave your comment down below on this video. But we're going to go ahead and call it good for this video. I just wanted to let y'all know what time it was with the LAN drivers. And, everybody said they were having problems with it and everything else. Turn around. It's actually the drivers itself. It's not the hardware. It's the software. The software is the problem. So to correct the software problem, go back to the beginning. Start at the beginning with the first set of drivers and then work your way up. That's the solution. So, but anyway, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. What I mean by 4,000 watch hours, watch the videos from beginning to end, would be much appreciated, would help the channel grow and get us monetized. That's what we're working towards. We have to be able to be monetized in order for things to happen on this channel. For me to go further, to go more, I'm just going to continue to make the videos. If they're good, they're bad. If the thumbnails suck or they don't, I hope you all appreciate that, because I'm doing everything on my own and I'm trying to do it the best way I know how. I know my thumbnails and stuff don't look like, these top of the line ones that they got out there. But, when you start at the beginning, this is what you start with. You got the tools, what you got at hand, and your knowledge of what you're working with. And what I told y'all in the beginning, this is my first time doing videos. In the beginning, 8-9 months ago, this is the real deal. I'm still learning how to make videos and, getting the artwork a little bit better and trying each time to get the artwork a little bit better. But, that takes time. And, I hope y'all understand that it takes time for that to sink into somebody's mind. It's just like if you're learning a new language. It takes time for you to learn it. It's just like when you're making videos. With the thumbnails and everything that comes along with it. You're learning how to do it. I'm learning as I go. So if there's something newer or something better that comes out, I'll try it out. If it works for what I'm doing, guess what? I'm going to implement it to what we got going on here. But anyway, I just want to let y'all know, be patient with me. I'm a little bit slow at these videos, but when it comes to PC building and, trying to get the news out to y'all and everything else, it's not hard. So, we can get you the best that we can get you. And I hope you understand. And I hope y'all stick with us and don't go anywhere. And I hope y'all tell your friends, come on down. It's entertaining, yes. The videos, I try to make them entertaining. As well as I try not to be like a stiff geek geeking out on the stats or something like, oh my god, your life is going to fall apart because they used the wrong case, or oh my god, they screwed up doing that, or my life is going to end because guess what? They stopped making processors. The world's not going to end. PC world will continue. Now, the PC world community will continue. Life will go on. Have patience and smile and try to have fun when you do this. It's not life or death threatening situation. When you do PC building, you're supposed to do it having fun. Don't do it because you watch everybody else do it. Do it because you're having fun. I'm having fun with you all doing what I do best. Okay? Yes, I'll admit I've cooked all my life and I've worked in the restaurant industry all my life. But they always come to me saying, hey, can you help me with the PC? Hey, can you help me with this PC? Can you help me with that PC? I always got that question day in and day out. Can you help me with the software? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I'm supposed to be managing a restaurant. Go figure. But it's something that I did on the side and learned on my own. Doing all that I can, learning about every little component and what it stands for, what its function is and everything else. And also going down to the far as learning what the component, the individual components on the board, their values and everything else, the electronic part of the hardware, learning it all. So, yes, I have many years. I've been doing this since '86 to now. So I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep making videos, and I hope y'all enjoy them, and I hope y'all tell your friends and everybody around to come on down and subscribe to the channel. Would be great. But anyway, until the next time, in the next video, this is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. We will see you on the next one.